Welcome back. I am so excited right now. I'm a buzz because I have in the studio Jeremy Aldrich for the first time. This is like a plot to make sure that I got you here at some point. And so he is here with August McAdoo, who's been here before.
Yes, I am.
And I'm thrilled to have you back here in the studio.
Very glad to be back.
And you guys are here to talk about a very special production of The Boys Next Door, which, Jeremy, you're directing.
Yes.
And August, you're playing the role of Norman.
Yes.
In The Boys Next Door. Okay. And I want to talk about all this before I get into everything else because I have so much exciting to say.
Okay.
But this is being produced by CRE. Tell us, Jeremy, what CRE is, what that stands for, and what it is.
Okay, so CRE Outreach is a 501c3 arts organization that works with underserved communities. We do basically art therapy. We have projects and classes, different things that we do using art to create, reflect, and empower. So that's what CRE stands for, is create, reflect, and empower. So we're hoping to create art, or we do create art, that reflects the communities that we're serving, and then empowering both the people that are in the projects and the people that are able to come and hopefully be inspired to improve their lives. So that's CRE Outreach. We have our Theater by the Blind program, and we have our VET program, which works with people that suffer from PTSD as a result of their experiences. We also have Rex and Friends, which August is a part of, which is a music program that helps people with autism. And Rex is also blind, so there's also folks that have vision impairment in that group. And then lastly, we have the AUTA program, which is a music program for after-school children. So we do a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing organization, and you're a part of this.
Yes.
And how long have you been a part of this?
I've been with Rex and Friends now for, it's 2018. We got started back in 2014, so about going on 4 years in December.
And so 4 years of this, what has it done for you, August?
Oh my God. It's done a lot, really. It's given me a chance to, get out and show people what I can do, not let my disability limit me.
We were talking earlier about, I love what Howie Mandel says about, let's stop saying disability, let's start talking about this ability, which I really love, because clearly you've got a lot of ability, and this gives you an opportunity to be able to let that shine.
Absolutely.
And you're going to shine in The Boys Next Door, which is opening October 12th.
October 12th, yes.
Where?
It's going to be at the Blue Door Theater in Culver City. It's CRE now has a home theater that we, for ourselves. It's a 50-seat theater right on Venice Boulevard. And they raised $250,000 of in-kind donations and renovated it into a really nice little theater. So they've had, I think, 2 productions there. This is the third production in the new space. But it's so amazing to have our own space because, we have actors who often had to come into new theaters and learn new spaces in very short amount of time when they're visually impaired. So it's a huge advantage to have our own space that we can be in, that they can learn, and when you come to the show, you'll see that they're comfortable in their space as they would be, in their own home or somewhere. So we get to see folks that are working at their the peak of their abilities and able to tell the story in a great way.
Love it. And this is a very special show,
Yes.
both in its original form,
Yes.
a very special show,
Yes.
but you're doing a very special production of it. We believe this is the first time that anybody has done this show with a cast that is as diverse as what you have in your cast. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
As to my knowledge, it is. So let's talk a little bit about, for people who aren't familiar with the play itself, what it features, and then who the cast is and what their abilities are.
Okay, great. So The Boys Next Door deals with a social worker and primarily four men who are living together in kind of a halfway home situation where they're looking to mainstream into society. I think the heart of the play is what we're discovering is really about the friendship and that the friendship and support that Jack is supplying to.
And he's the
the
social
boys.
worker,
He's the
correct?
social
Yes.
worker. So,
Yes.
but what we're discovering is that he discovers throughout the show his real and true connection and love for these people, and vice versa. So it's really coming together, and it's I'm really interested. It's the third time I've been involved in the show. I was involved
Wow.
in it, as you know, in college. I played Norman.
Yeah, what?
Did you
Yeah.
know that?
No, I didn't.
He doesn't know, but
This is great.
Yeah,
This
so-
is great. Oh man.
So I played Norman in college.
Yes.
Then
And beautifully, I must say.
Well, thank you very much. And then directed it. You hired me to direct it in Santa Clarita, and
Wow.
we did some great work there as
Yeah.
well. So this is the third time, and I pitched it to CRE, and I've been pitching it for years. And I've been pitching it for the reason that I think it's a beautiful opportunity for the actors that are involved with CRE to do a published work, number one, to really take on a full play, and then also to be able to bring the authenticity of actors that have their own challenges and their own struggles and victories and their life experience to bring to these characters that also have, profound challenges. And throughout the process and rehearsal, we've had some really wonderful conversations and discoveries along that line. It's so that I really think it's going to be valuable. It's valuable for, I hope, for them and also for the audiences that'll come see it.
I honestly wish you'd had a film crew following you through the whole rehearsal process, because I'm sure it would have been documentary
Behind the
worthy.
scenes, would-
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Last night was documentary worthy,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It really was.
Was it
really
epic?
was. Yes, it was.
I sense some drama. Drama's always good.
Yes.
Okay, so these gentlemen that are living in the house, they have. I said earlier, I hate saying special needs, but each one of them has a different place that they're coming from. The reason why they can't just live on their own.
Yes, that's right.
And do we ever define? I mean, I know, having seen the show several times, to me, certain things spring up in terms of diagnoses, but do we ever actually define what the diagnosis is for the different four gentlemen in the play?
Yes, somewhat. So Barry, who is actually being played by a gentleman named Coco, he is a schizophrenic. So that's actually defined. Arnold, who is being played by, oh my lord, I'm gonna forget his name right now. Lee. Sorry, I'm
asking you a lot.
Yeah, Lee Pugsley is playing Arnold. He's not very actually defined. He just says he's somewhat a depressive, and he's kind of very in general terms.
Although he comes across to me as being very much an Asperger.
Absolutely.
Right,
yeah, but that, the play is written in the 80s, and some of the stuff we've had a little bit of updating to do. Sorry, Tom Griffin. So just a touch, because some of the language that was very much in vogue in the 80s is not in vogue.
Not PC, absolutely.
And it's not descriptive either.
Yes.
So like Norman is described by Tom as originally as retarded, which is not actually
not working for us, is it?
No, not at all.
It's not working. But so
talking about my generation.
So we've changed that description to developmentally disabled.
Got it.
But that also isn't super tight.
Right.
But it is less insulting.
Right.
So Norman is not really defined. Let's see, who are the other? And then Lucian is also basically just that he has an impairment, like a brain impairment. That he's the most severely affected by his challenge. So.
And now you've cast individuals. Did you cast all males?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
because it's worth asking, right?
Yeah.
And are all? Yes.
But we cast two females to play three. There are six parts that are on the outside of the four boys, And two of those are female, but four of the characters are not. But we cast all 6 of those as female to help balance balance the show out.
Okay. And so, I hate to sort of put it in this category, but it's one of the most interesting things about that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So you're using people of different abilities. Did you match those to characters? So if you had some, obviously not, right?
No. Yeah.
Because how do you identify yourself, August?
I identify myself as a person that, has mild autism. That, if you look at me, I'm just I would look just like you, or just like anybody else. But behind my quote unquote normal looking self, I have things that I get hung up on. I noticed.
I think that's a perfect answer. You don't even need to say more than that. But to take someone who identifies as having mild autism and cast them as someone who we're saying has developmental delay, it's a very interesting choice. Now, the person who would have been defined more as Asperger's, can you talk to us about how those people identify, how those actors identify? Is it appropriate to ask?
So like Lee, who's playing
Yes.
Arnold, he's from Theater by the Blind.
Okay.
So he has about about 5%, 10% vision.
Okay.
Very, very low vision, and he is successfully playing Arnold for sure. But he doesn't have anything relating to Asperger's or anything, or anxiety disorder.
I love this as an actor. Right.
He's acting it. The thing though that's interesting I want to say is that one of the things that personally inside of CRE, we have a lot of conversation about product and about pieces that we're going to pick and how the actors portray themselves. And one of the things that I've done in this play is that let's say the folks that are from TBTV, from Theater by the Blind, I'm not asking them to play sighted. So Arnold in the play, we're talking about Arnold, Lee is Lee.
Yeah.
And he's bringing himself fully to the part. I'm also asking Norman, August. August is bringing himself fully to the part. So it's.
But on top of that, he's also playing the condition that's written into the role.
Absolutely, and so it's more of the way I imagine it is. Arnold has huge amounts of issues with organization and command, and he's extremely rigid and anxious.
Control freak. Yeah,
he's like a little control freak, and wait till you see it.
I can't wait.
Because it just amplifies. It amplifies everything. So, he has to command others when in this production, he might not be able to run over immediately to do something for himself. So, in that moment, so he is commanding others to do everything for him.
Love it.
So
and it really informs it.
It does inform it. So that's it's exciting. It's really interesting.
It is such an interesting concept. Now, one of the things that when we sort of teased that we were going to have this conversation yesterday, I said, there's a moment I hope I'm not giving things away for people to come. Is it okay to talk about?
Sure. I don't know what you're going to say.
Okay. I would think that you would. There's a moment with each character in the play where we get to see who this person would have been had this roadblock, whatever it is, not been put in their way.
Yeah, technically only 2, but yeah.
I thought we saw it with all 4.
It would be nice. Tom.
All right, that's to the playwright. Okay.
We get we get that for Lucian.
I thought we got that with
all 4.
We get that
for Sheila, and we get that for Norman.
I guess I don't know this play as well as I thought I did.
That's okay.
But
But yes, that does occur.
And so that's got to be a very particular, interesting. Since you've asked these actors to bring what they have, then well, obviously Arnold doesn't have that moment then. So you're not. Would you, if that moment were in there, would you have asked Lee to play that sighted?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And for you, when you have this transformative moment with Norman, what is that like for you?
Well, for me, it's like, okay, Norman, you work at a donut shop, you obsess over your keys because I don't want anybody to touch my keys. I'm speaking as Norman, you know. I don't want anybody to touch my keys because I can't get into things without them.
Right.
Number one. Number two, Sheila is my life. She's my love. I love her, but I also love donuts.
And that is Norman,
Yes.
right?
So now, so in the moment, we've got a few moments actually for him that are some that are not necessarily written in, but we've got the moment where you talk about the movies, right, with her, and you get to fully use your baritone voice, right?
Yes.
He's got this moment where
I sort of
he has this Casanova moment with Sheila, and then when at the end of the act when you're dancing,
during the dance,
which we're still working on a little
Right.
bit, but because we had a new Sheila come into the production, and if I could take one moment just to say. Sylvia Taylor, we are missing you, and we love you, and we're thinking of you in your recovery. She was originally cast as Sheila, and she had a stroke.
Bless her heart.
She had a complication a couple weeks in, so we had to have a new Sheila come in. But we're thinking about Sylvia. We know you're doing great.
Always.
Yay.
Love you, babe.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All of our thoughts and prayers out to you, Sheila. Wonderful. And so great that you were able to get another actress who stepped in.
We were, yeah.
How's that for you?
For me, it's I want to say it's good, question mark.
I think that's appropriate.
It's good. It's good. It's a little bit more challenging, which I love. I love a challenge.
Yeah.
So
whenever you get used to doing something with one person and change it, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
And but here's one of the things that has been very much in discussion lately. You know, a friend of the show is Kobe Bird. And Kobe is a young actor. He's 16 years old, on the autism spectrum. He's brilliant performer, and recently, a year ago, he got cast in The Good Doctor to play a boy on the spectrum.
Wow.
And it was one of the first times
oh my goodness.
Isn't that exciting?
I've been waiting a long time to hear that.
Well, but now there's even more people, because Atypical this last year cast 4, I think they have like 18 people on the show now that are on the spectrum, but 4 core members of the cast are on the autism spectrum. We're really seeing a change now.
Wow.
So the next change that we're looking for is to see a person who's on the autism spectrum be cast as someone who's not on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
Which is what you're doing. You are playing somebody who's not on the autism spectrum.
Wow. I didn't even, that never crossed my mind.
But that's the truth,
Wow.
and that's very exciting. You're at the forefront, you're pioneering for a whole bunch of people who are coming behind you.
Wow.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's remarkable when we find directors and producers who are willing to do this, so I salute you.
Like this guy.
Thank you.
This is like an epic sort of thing to take on. Were you sure when you took this on that you were going to be able to do it, Jeremy, or was there a little bit of trepidation about this?
We're in production week, so there's still trepidation.
Got it. Like, everything has not been solved yet.
You
Of course.
production week.
Yeah.
The foundation that CRE has, years and years and years of work, I think that's a really great foundation to have, in the support of the organization that has so much experience. So that, felt that's the place to do it. and to have, if you need resources or advice. I've been able to reach out to Greg Shane, I think, who you had on this.
Did I?
I think you did.
I think I
Greg.
did. From CRE.
From CRE,
Yes,
very dynamic fellow, one of the founders. He, when we've had some challenges in the process, I have been able to reach out to him, and he's had some really great advice, techniques, things to do. He's worked with August some on independently running lines and ways to match physical actions with text. Right? Yes. And do some physicalization and to help with memory and so on. And, so I'm learning, as we go along about how to be a better director in this, in this circumstance and in this process. So I'm learning as well. I didn't ever think it would be there wouldn't be an insurmountable challenge. I didn't think that, otherwise we wouldn't have set a date, right, to open it.
Well, but you're a brilliant director.
Thank you.
And I think that you are somebody who takes on challenges. I think that's who you are. And I have seen in you that there is a sensitivity, which I appreciate. Across the board.
But I've discovered, let's say a natural sensitivity or just a natural ability with people, let's say, only goes so far. And I think that it's important to humble oneself and realize, like, hey, I may not have all the tools or the experience here on my own to do the best job that I like to do. So,
but the willingness.
But yes.
And as you said, the humbleness, is that the word that I want? The humility. The humility to say that. We just need so very much more of that in our world and in theater. You and I have had conversations. I promised all of them that I would disclose how you and I first met. That you and I go way back.
Yes.
I would love to claim you as a student, but I've been thinking about it, and I don't know that I really get to claim you as one of my students.
Why
do
not?
I? Because correct me if I'm wrong. When I was teaching college, and Jeremy was one of the students at the college that I was teaching at, but the only class that I recall you being in was senior seminar. Am I wrong?
The most important class I ever took in college.
That's a very sweet thing to say.
No, it's 100% true. I was thinking about it on the way over here. That you were, we had wonderful professors at Oswego. We were, the art was being taught very well. Ron Medici, Mark Cole, beautiful teachers.
Yes.
However, you came and said, hey, if you guys are really looking to do this, there's some skills you need. You're like, hey, and we did that, right? We prepared ourselves to go out and take the craft that we had learned at the school and to actually go apply it somewhere instead of learning that on the fly, which many of the students from the program had to do before. So it's extremely, so I think you can claim me as a student. And
well, that's sweet.
But you directed me as well.
Yes, I directed you, but I never had you in an acting class, which was, I would have thoroughly enjoyed that. And
we did monologues. And they didn't.
Did we?
They're like 6. Our final was to do like 6 monologues.
All right. Oh, I'm glad I had you guys do that. That was a good thing to do.
I still have those in my book.
All right, fabulous. But so that was the first go round, and I have to say, one of my things in life, because I used to be an actress too, is that you don't get to be outside yourself. You don't get to see what you're doing, and so in life, you're going to meet directors, and sometimes they're not always going to be as great as Jeremy is, and that can be very frustrating. You have to find a way to be able to work and understand what it looks like and make yourself happy as an artist, no matter who you're working with. Right. They call it being director-proof, right? And one of the things that one of the things that I've always said is, in your life as an artist, you have to cultivate people that are like-minded. That you go to the theater with people and you talk afterwards about how you felt about it, what you saw, and when you see people that think like you do, you go, great. Because then if I ask your opinion of something, I'm going to know that you have the same sensibility that I have. First time I ever went to a play with you, and there was a conversation afterwards, and I think you were a senior, And you remember which play it was?
Mary Victoire.
Marie avec toi. See, we remember so distinctly. And afterwards, there were a group of people standing around talking, and they were saying a bunch of different things. And Jeremy sat there and he said, "I don't know, maybe I didn't get it, but I thought it was horrible." And I went, no, I think you got it. I'm with you, right? And we were having conversations about things that everybody else was like, "But I saw this and I saw that," and I was like, "Yeah, no." I'm with him, and ever since then, I have looked at your sensibility, and you do work that I love.
Thank you.
You have always, even as a student, done work that I loved and said, "This is good work."
Thank you.
So I not only respect your work, I respect your opinion, and count on you in my community as somebody that I respect your opinion. He's pretty special.
Yeah, he is.
Did you know that before this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But in my time getting to, work with Jeremy, rides home, rides to rehearsal, to photo shoots, getting to talk with him,
He gives you a ride to rehearsal?
From
above and beyond.
Sometimes he give me a ride. He gives me rides home sometimes, because I'm literally right down the street from the theater.
I see.
And getting to talk with him, getting to, pick his brain about, just acting in general.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm getting uncomfortable.
We'll make room for your head in the studio later.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to remind people, though, that this production, there are still tickets available.
Yes, and you can go to CREoutreach.org and go ahead and pick up tickets. Tickets are only $15. It's a 50-seat theater. It's very intimate, not a bad seat in the house. We're sold out for opening night, and we're getting close for the weekend, but get in there opening weekend and
are you doing a preview weekend before?
No, it looks like we're opening right on the 12th.
Opening on the 12th. Okay. And so where do I have to go to get tickets? What's the website?
So it's CREoutreach.org.
CREoutreach.org.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the neighborhood that the theater's in?
It's in Culver City, and it's
what's
right
the parking situation like?
There's tons of street parking, and there's also some parking structures right in the area. So should be okay.
Okay.
We never have a problem.
I want to take a little bit of a break, and then I want to come back, and if it's okay with you, I want to talk about when I came to see a show that you did and something that happened and some of the conversations that we've had since then.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
I didn't ask you beforehand,
Yeah,
and I'd love to get your opinion so that we can talk about this as a group, because it's been something kind of that registers kind of big on my horizon. Do you